Welcome back, you beautiful creations. It's your guy, Seth Garu Baxter with Maker's Bar, where we're creating 1 million liters today for tomorrow. I am extremely pleased and honored, and you might hear me say that a couple of times during my show, but especially in this particular case. Not only is she beautiful and has one of the most beautiful smiles and speaking voices that I can just listen to all day, but she is an author of the book, Girl Just Show Up. She is also the host of her own podcast show, the Muriam Cinevert podcast on YouTube, and the editor and founder of True Self magazine. Ladies and gentlemen of the Maker's Bar audience, where we're creating 1 million leaders today for tomorrow, one of our best leaders that we have today, and I have the privilege, distinct privilege, of calling her Muriam, a new friend of mine. Muriam and the beautiful smile, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction. I am doing well. Thank you for having me on the show, Seth. Looking forward to it.
I am too. I have been for some time. Looking forward to this. You are a dynamo and a half. And just in our pre-video conversation, I can't tell you enough about how much you've already edified my soul. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So, Miriam, tell us about your origin story. Where do you hail from, and the beginning of the pathway that brought us here today.
Oh, yeah, with pleasure, with pleasure. Well, I am actually from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Came to United States at the age of 8. And I have to tell you, growing up in New Jersey was no fun, no walk in the park. Let's put it this way. Um, I have witnessed my mother, who's no longer here, rest in peace, Mama. I have witnessed her gone through the struggles of making ends meet for us. My mother had about 8 children,
Mhm.
and I have witnessed us being homeless. I have witnessed
Mhm.
us, our homes being broken into to the point of, you could say, literally moved us out. What I mean is, imagine coming from church and your couch has been moved, your living room furniture has been moved out, your VCR at the time has been taken, TV has been taken, and there was a note in a wall with a big knife saying, "Get out, go back to where you come from."
Mhm.
And so, seeing all that, to me, it stays with me, right? And it helps me to understand, moving forward as I'm getting older, is I've been there and I understand it. And I always know that there's a better path to life than what my mom was able to give us. And it wasn't her fault. She tried her best, right? She tried her best to give us a good life. But unfortunately, we end up in a place where life wasn't so good. So moving forward, getting married, having children of my own. That's another story. I don't even know if you want me to get into all that.
Yes, I love it. Anything, all of it about your
All
journey
of it,
is
all of it, all
interesting.
of it. Okay, well, let me go back a little bit. Um, I talk about the homeless piece of it. But what I didn't mention is the growing up of, I'm not sure if I'm able to say certain words. That's one thing I didn't ask.
You you definitely have some leeway.
Okay. Um, Being molested as a young girl, right? As I say, life has not been so sweet. Like, oh my God, I did not, raised with a silver spoon in my mouth, not at all, not even a plastic spoon, really. Um, but going forward is what I've learned in life is, it's not your fault, Miriam. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But it still kept me from really being myself, right? Because confidence comes from how you were raised and what you have seen, for me. So moving forward, now I'm married. I was married for 10 years. Um, and if you need to ask me any questions, because I'm probably skipping some things, if you
That's
need
okay.
clarification of anything, please feel free to ask me, okay?
Absolutely.
Um, Now I'm married. I'm a family oriented person. I love being around families. It makes me feel good. I love it. However, it's important to know that you have to enter um, the right home of whom we're going to marry. Understand? So
Yes.
great things came out of the marriage, but happiness did not come out of the marriage. Right? I have a one biological son, which he's 21 now, and I adopted my ex-husband two children. Well, they are still part of my life, so I always say I have three children.
Yes.
Okay, 29 and 30, and my son is now 21. So that's the best thing for me that happens in my marriage. And one best thing. The second best thing is that I learned to be who I am.
Mm.
When in my marriage, I learned to be the woman that Miriam wasn't, meaning that yes, I love the homes. I love taking care of families. But Miriam creativities were shut down. There wasn't her. You understand? It
Yes.
was it was the mom, the wife. That was it in the 9 to 5. And the verbally and the emotional um aspect of the relationship.
Yes.
There's a word I'm trying not to say. That's what I said. Okay.
I understand.
Aspect of the relationship. Crying every night, crying every day, you name it, morning, afternoon, crying because happiness was not there. I have to give my brother, one of my brothers, credit for this, and I tell him I would give him credit for it until the day I stop breathing. Because as I'm calling him and I'm like, bro, what do I do? This is what I'm going through. I'm not happy. I'm this, I'm that. And he says to me, your problem is, sis, you are trying to change him instead of you trying to change yourself.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I didn't understand what that meant. And that's when he introduced me to Wayne Dyer, who no longer live, rest in peace, Wayne.
Yes.
Dr. Wayne Dyer, he introduced me to Wayne Dyer and some other spiritual teachers on YouTube and just different things. And I started listening and I started learning. I started meditating. At first, I did not know what meditation was. My brother, who's very high spiritual person, who meditates for hours and you know really in tune with who he is, he taught me. He said, you know what, wait till everybody goes to bed, sit, find a comfortable space, sit there, be one with yourself, don't ask for anything, just be. And do you know, by me doing that, I was breaking down.
Mm.
I become very strong and my mind become clear of who I am,
Yes.
right? And so fast forward, I had gotten the strength to, and I'm not telling anybody to leave their marriages, okay? But you got to know what works for you and what will makes you happy. It's not living for society, it's really living for the moment that you are in this earth. All right. And so I said, I gotta find me. I gotta find me. And so in 2010, I made a decision and I walked away from my marriage. And best decision ever.
Now, in doing so, is that what created the direction to go in? Because you are the founder and CEO of True Self Magazine. Now, where does that fit into after you left your marriage and found that strength, that inner strength?
Well, let me, I didn't mention this to you. I am also the founder of a financial firm called Fiducia Financial Group that I am one of the partners. It's a family business that I was getting a percentage of partnership in the firm. And so before the magazine, it's the firm. And let me get into that. So
Please
after
do.
the divorce, um, I actually the my business partner now, I was introduced to him by my ex-husband because he used to do our taxes, et cetera, right? And so after my divorce, I reached out to him and I say, hey, his name is Dr. Lou James. I say, hey, listen, I love what you do. I love how you help in the community. From his experience about financial stabilities, financial education to the community, the Haitian community, because they don't understand the 401k, et cetera, et cetera. I said, I love what you're doing. How can I work with you? And he says, hey, I'm always looking for someone to work with. Da, 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 da. It's a family business. It's me and my sister who started it. And I remember there were in one room, right? We had to put dividers to so that we can have our own little space, right? It was the three of us. I would leave my 9 to 5 job. At the time, I used to work at ADP as a payroll accounting. I would leave my 9 to 5 job. Let me tell you how God works.
Oh, yeah.
I, after my divorce, um, oh my God, I have to tell you, I have to let me go back before I left, right? Because I was afraid to leave my marriage because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to raise, at the time my son was 6, I didn't want to raise a kid by myself. I'm like, oh my God. Again, my brother, he was my to-go-to guy, okay? Bro, what if I move out and this happened? What if my son gets sick and I don't have anyone? What if, the doubt, the fears. And you know what my brother says to me? What if none of these things ever happen?
Mm.
And I had to say, you know what? You're right. I'm thinking all the negative things of what ifs, but let me think about the positive. What if God sent me all the great people into my life that can lead me, right?
Yes.
What if I've created a family foundation of non blood related that I can call brothers and sisters and etc. So with Dr. Lou James, that's what happened, right? He and I left. I met him, and when I called him, I said, "Hey, this is who I am. This is what I like to do." Da, 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 da. And then I have found a daycare that opened up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes. So I was able to leave work at 5 p.m. and go to my friend's business to help out and pick up my son at 11:30 at night and do it again and again and again and again for many years. Now, long story short, my friend, the location he was in, Stone Mountain, Georgia, they've asked them to give it up. They were like, look, we sold the building and unfortunately you gotta go. So I said to him, I said, man, listen, God is opening many doors, bigger doors for you. So I said, deuces, bye. Okay, hallelujah. When one door closes, it's not the end,
Another one open. That's right.
it's bigger. So we got a building. We got another office rental, which is better, beautiful. Now we got 6 different offices. We expanding. And then here we go. I'm gonna make a story. I got a long story. You sure you have time? Um,
So,
and now we in this building complex. Okay, out of nowhere, we got a letter that says, "Hey, the building was just sold. You have 30 days to move your stuff out." What? Just like that? That's okay. We are prayer warrior, prayer warrior, whatever the word is. So we started praying, praying, praying. So within the same complex, we found another building where the owner passed away, and then the daughter said, "You know what? I don't want to manage this. I'm going to sell this to you guys." You say how God works, right?
Oh yeah,
When one door closes, a bigger one
another
open
one.
up.
That's
So
right.
we're like, "Look, we don't have the money right now." She's like, "It's not a problem. List to own." So that's what we did, list to own. But he goes the kicker. Remember, I told you this is a family business. I have
Yes.
nothing to do with the startup of the business. I didn't put a dime in or nothing. But one time I went to the office, and Dr. Lou James and his sister called me in the office and said, "You know what? You've been here for us. Our our own family is not even put as much as you have put into our business. And we'd like to offer you a 10% partnership of this business." Like, huh? What? Sure. Okay. Well, thank you. You know, and so I say all that to say, um, doors will open up for you when you release what's holding you back,
Yes. Yes.
right? And when you decide to give freely, because I didn't get paid. I was leaving work from a corporate world and then going to another job where I was not getting no money, but I was learning and I was helping, right? And so yeah, that's how that comes about. But keep going now. Here I am working for ADP. I worked for ADP for 17 years. I transferred from New Jersey to Georgia. Okay, I've worked for ADP for 17 years. But one day, now I started making a little bit of money selling insurance, right? And I said, see, I'm a person, I think big. I don't know about anybody. You guys think big. And one day, I look at one of my insurance commissions. I said, it wasn't much at all now. It was about maybe $1,000 for the month. I said, if I could make $1,000, I can make 3,000. Replacing my 4,000, replacing my 9 to 5 job, and I don't have to report to nobody. I don't have to do this. So I called my friend. I said, "You know what? I made a decision." He said, "What?" I said, "I'm gonna quit ADP." He said, "You can quit ADP. What about this? What about that?" I said, "You know what? I do have 2 weeks vacation. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my 2 weeks vacations, and when I get back, I'm gonna give him my 2 weeks notice." He was like, "You sure?" I said, "Yes, I'm positive. I've made a decision. I'm going to do it." And he said, "But what about, because, let's keep it real. Didn't have any money." Okay. And he said, "Well, what about your rent? What this?" I said, "I don't know. It's going to come. I'm going to work this insurance business and I'm going to, replace the money for me." I'm thinking, I see it. I'm thinking positive. Well, let me tell you what happened. 2 days later, I went to work. I got an email from HR. They'd like to speak with me. Okay. I've been working there for 17 years, never gotten in trouble, nothing. So I'm like, an email from HR. So when I got there, she said, "Miriam, unfortunately, blah, 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 we have to outsource your department."
Wow.
I said, "Oh, okay." I'm smiling. She said, she said, "Why are you smiling? We're letting you know we're letting you go." I said, "It's okay." And here's why I was smiling, because I had made a decision to quit my job with no money. Now you're telling me you're letting me go with $30,000. Of course, I'm smiling. And that was in 2013, 14ish. And I have not looked back working for the corporate. I've been working for myself since then, by the grace of God. things has been really good. And so it's like when you, again, it's all about making a decision and sticking with it. And once you make your decisions, the doors will open up for you. Because a lot of times doors don't open up, not a lot of times, all the time, it's because of the doubts that we have. What if, what if, what if? And just like I explained to you a minute ago, is when my brother said, what if all good things happen when you make a decision instead of all the negative things, right? So fast forward, here I am, doing this insurance business, but I've always been a woman who's into the entertainment world too. Before my mom passed away, that's what I used to do. I used to go in auditions. I graduated from Barbers and Modeling School. I'm into the writings. I went to Essex County College because I wanted to study journalism. I wanted to become a journalist.
So much.
So much. That's always been who I am. But I had to stop all that because all that did not bring money right away. And I needed to take care of myself. But you know what they always says, I don't care how long it takes you, you will always come back to your first love.
That's right.
You will always come back to your first love. And so I remember I sat in my living room one day and I have this older lady in my life that I call mom. She's in her 70s, out of respect. She's here for me. She's like a mother. So I call her mom. And I remember we're on the couch watching TV. And I said, Mom, I want to have a reality TV show. She said, You want to do what? I said, I want to do a reality show. She's like, Okay, well, go for it. And I knew nothing about no production, no nothing. Okay. At the time, I had $25,000 in my saving account. And she said, What would it call? Crazy enough, here's the thing, Steph. After I told her that, I went to sleep and I had a dream of the reality show. I had a dream of the logo and the name. The name of it, the Single Moms of Atlanta.
Oh,
Single
wow.
moms of Atlanta. And for me, it's about single women raising their children without the welfare, without the child support, with them working and building an empire for their children. Because it's not every single moms that goes into welfare. Okay,
Yes.
it's not every single mom that's fighting a man to pay child support. Because if I have to fight you to pay child support for your children, for your child, I don't need it.
Yes.
And a lot of people call me gullible for that, but I'm not gullible. I'm just like, look, you help me put this child in this world. And if I have to take you to court for you to take care of your kid, what does that say about me, first of all?
Yes.
You know? So anyhow, I hired a production team that, of course, you could say took my money, took all my 20,000 that I had in the bank. Um, because they give me, and it's on YouTube. You can look it up. And they gave me a scissor reel. At the time, I didn't even know what sizzle reel meant. I'm keeping it real. Okay. They give me a 30, they give me a 30 seconds, a 1 minute sizzle reel. And I did a casting call. I mean, I'm the type of person when I say I'm gonna get it done, it's gonna get done. Okay. And now I'm shopping the show around. I'm shopping the show. I'm shopping the show because it's good. It's good content. I got me my cast members. Everything looks good. And the networks, I have some networks that says, you know what, I like your show idea. Do you have a pilot that we can run? No, I only have a sizzle reel. And they're like, well, we can't do anything with sizzle reel. If we have to shoot a pilot, it's gonna cost you because now we gotta put a one episode together, right? Oh my gosh, no, I don't have a sizzle, I don't have a pilot, I only have a sizzle reel. And now people say, Miriam, with that type of money, you could have had 2 or 3 different episodes. I didn't know. I just thought, hey, I got somebody that's working with me, she's directing me, she got me covered, but it's okay. Lesson learned. Now we got one big network who says to me, I love your idea. We're gonna take it and run with it. But you need a celebrity, someone to be the face, because of course Miriam is nobody, right?
To
Quote
them,
unquote.
to
Yeah, to
them.
the
Yeah.
quote unquote, right? And so we got, I don't want to say her name, but we did get someone very well respected, grew up in everybody's household TV, to be part of this single mompreneurs of Atlanta, because she had just gotten a divorce and pregnant, okay, and have a kid, a baby. So we had a meeting with the network, and the network says, I love the whole concept, but we are missing ratchetness.
Oh, wow.
And so she said, well, I'm not about that. She's so sweet. She's like, I'm not, let me know. She said, I'm not about ratchetness. And I told the network, whenever you have 5, 6, 7 women together, you're gonna have drama. That's no given. But I don't want to disrespect my sister by throwing juice on her face, pulling her wigs out. That's the and fighting. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover. Come on now. I don't fight. So the next day, we got an email that says, "Thank you, but no thank you." And I remember laying on my bed. I was crying. Now I have no money. I have no show. I have no pilot. I have nothing. And yeah, I'm working now. It's like living now. I have nothing. I have no backup money, and crying, 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 meditating at the same time. And I clearly heard a voice that says to me, "You are going to go far. You are going to make it. But before then, you have to do one thing: start a magazine called a True Self
Wow.
Magazine for the confident plus size woman." True story. I had
And
no
you had
effort.
no money, and you had no money at the time.
I had no money at the time. I went and get the name registered, okay, on Secretary of State, and that's all I could have done. I know nothing about how to create a magazine, nothing. But I kept walking around telling people, I'm going to have a magazine. I'm going to have a magazine. And I remember one of my good friends, Sharpa Sal, she invited me to a production she was part of. And I'm sitting there, I'm watching the actors, they're doing their thing. And this young lady came to me. She was one of the producers. She said, what are you working on right now? I had nothing. I just said, oh, I'm about to have a magazine called True Self Magazine. She said, really? She said, I can do your pictures for your cover because I'm a photographer. Oh, okay. Thank you. She said, you need a makeup artist? My cousin does makeup. She said, who's going to be your cover? I said, well, I'm going to be my cover. It's my first one. I want to be my cover. And so she said, great. You got a location? At the time, I used one of our offices. I said, yeah, I have a room. She came and did my picture. I don't have the first cover with me, but she did my picture, my photos, and then her cousin did the makeup for me. Do you see how the doors open?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. However, I can tell you, when beautiful cover, but when the magazine came out, I was like, man, what is this? The fonts were so big. No, here go what it is. I hired someone who says she had her own magazine, right? I hired her. I paid her $350 to format it for me, right? But the fonts was so big. It was only 10 pages. 10 pages. However, I posted, it was February 2018. That's when the first issue came out. I posted on social media, said, hey, Joseph Magazine, Premiere Magazine, issue, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I got a message from a messenger from a lady named Pam Chapman. I love your magazine. I would love to be in the cover. I'm like, Pam Chapman. And I was telling one of my friends, she said, "You don't know who Pam Chapman is?" And I know, I don't know her. They call her the Oprah of Mississippi, something like that, where she was in Good Morning Mississippi, Good Morning America from Mississippi, things like that. I was
Yes.
like, huh? I said, what? Really? So I featured her in my second issue. After that, people kept calling me, how can I be in your cover? How can I be in your cover? How can I be in your cover? That's how I met Kier. Now I invest in myself. I want to get coaching. I'm revamping because now I know better. I'm knowing better, right? And so I got a messenger. Hey, I love your magazine. I think it's really good quality. You can go really far. I know someone who can help you with distribution. I said, another scam." I deleted. I got another text saying, "Hey, I'm not a scam. This is who I am, blah, blah, blah." I didn't reply. I said, "Listen, please leave me alone. I don't have no money." That's what I replied, right? And I got another one that said, "Can I have your number? I'd like to call you." And that was Care. And yes, that was Care. Care introduced me to
Wow.
Mr. John Blassingame, who helped me with the distribution in 2020 of True Self magazine to be in the stores. So now here I am. I am in Books of Millions. I am in Florida. I am in New Jersey. I am in different magazine cafe in New York and different local distribution stores. I am in 7-Eleven and many stores nationally. I was like, wait a minute. Did you hear me? Like, hello. From l- being obedient to
Yes.
listening,
Yes.
right? And I've gone with it. And now this is my issues. I don't know if you can see.
I can see it's a little gloss shine. There we go.
Okay. This is a
Yes.
couple of my issues. Like we went from 10 pages. This is some of my issues. I have some out here. This is Show Self magazine now. All right.
That's so incredible.
We global. I am global. I'm in Paris. I am everywhere. Right. So I'm global. So that's how Shoe Self magazine was born.
I did not know Cure was involved. And for our listeners, Cure Worthy is one of the most generous men of his time in making connections with people, and he has sincerity. Then he's a mover and shaker behind the scenes in a number of different ways. He's just one of my favorite people. So I did not know he was a part of that. That's very interesting.
He was. He was
We
because of him.
I did an interview with him a few months back, and it was just incredible his story. We're due for another one, so I'm so glad to know that that was Kier's role. He had mentioned that, and now you're global. So
I'm
True
global.
Self Magazine, tell us about it. What is the purpose of it before we go into any other direction? So when you think of True Self Magazine, what is it that you're communicating, and give us a little insight to the magazine itself.
Yes. As I mentioned, True Self Magazine, the tagline was for the confident plus size woman because I don't know, I'm a size 14, 16. And a lot of people, of course, in this industry, you're a plus size woman, right? As when you hit 8 and size 10, you're a plus size woman, right? And so, and I was hearing also a lot of women would say, oh, there's nothing out here for us. We can't even be in a national magazine. I said, you know what? I got you.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna make this magazine for the confident plus size woman. And so inside of it, and also the my tagline says, "Be true, be bold, be you." That's what True Self is all about. It's about being you, being bold, being true to yourself. So it's a lifestyle magazine where we have entertainment in here, poetry's in here, travels, all type of articles about finances, everything, recipes. It's a lifestyle magazine. However, Seth, I have made a decision also to because I've gotten a lot of look. We men too. We need this. We need to be. We live out yourself too. I said, you know what? Last year I started it where I made True Self magazine once a year for it to be Men of Excellence issue. That took off, right? Took off. It felt like that was the best issue I've ever put out. That's how much it took off. And so our next issue of month of Men of Excellence coming out next month. And so, and now I say, you know what? Everyone is living their true self.
Mm,
So I will be opening the cover in the magazine to everyone, whoever
that is
chooses to be.
incredible. Now, I'm curious, a small note, when with men, was this for plus size men as well, or just men in general?
Just men in general. The first issue I did it actually for the Haitian Men of Excellence. I wanted to give love to my Haitian brothers because I didn't feel like they had anything out there to highlight them. So I did that for them last year. But this year, on the cover, I am having Dr. Alan La Rosa. He's a pro basketball player, pro football, yeah, basketball player. He will be in the cover, and I have about some other man, about 6, 7 other excellence men that's going to be inside the magazine who talks about who they are and what they do and what makes them excellence in their field. So yeah, it wasn't for plus. And what I've decided to do also is because yeah, we want to feature. I want to have that niche, right? And this is what one of my coaches says to me. You got to have your audience, but sometimes it's okay too to go outside your audience, I feel.
Yes, I agree. I agree, and I think that's how we grow as well. It's not the worst thing to start out with your audience, your this grouping, but I find the growth is when you step outside of that, and then sometimes the mission is that you step out of that because it's another life that you can touch.
Yes. Yes. Because we are looking for something.
That's right.
And if I can help, let me help.
And when you say looking for something, and what is that something we're looking for that you think?
Well, we are looking for a place to belong. We all want to be seen because many of us work so hard and feel like we're not being seen,
Yes,
right? And if I can open up the opportunity for you to let you know what? You're being seen. You are seen. I
yes.
think most people would appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And being seen, doesn't that sometimes being seen is not just being watched, but being seen and recognized as a valuable entity that has existed, a valuable creation of God. That is the being seen and being seen as your authentic self. I know we've been getting very comfortable with the term authentic self, but it's still a very valid term to be used. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Being authentic, someone asked me one time, what does true self means? I said, well, true self means whatever you want it to mean.
Hmm.
How are you waking up today? However you wake up today, you choose to be, that's your true self.
Ah, ah. So being present. So am I understanding correctly? So being present
Present.
every time you wake up, just being present, and wherever that being present is at that moment, that is your true self.
That's your true self. There's no categories. There's no special bubbles, no special doors of being true self. Right now, I'm being my true authentic self, right? But it's the same way too. If I decide, you know what, I want to be the woman who don't want to be outspoken. I want to walk with my head down. That's my true self that I have chosen to show you.
Hmm.
That's, you know, yes, a lot of people wear masks. Okay, a lot of people do. But whether you wear the mask, whether you don't wear the mask, you have to make a decision. This is going to be your true self at the moment.
Oh, wow. I think that's very important, doctor. I was going to say doctor again.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
But that is something you touched on something because I think people think of the mask as not being themselves, but at that moment, That's the true self that's showing up
That's
with the
what you said
mask on.
showing up. Yes.
That's very valid, very important. Pardon me. I think people forget that. And I think it links us back to being present. So if present, you choose to wear a mask, and if
Mhm.
present, you choose not to, all of
Mhm.
those are your true self at that time of you being present in there.
Yes, sir.
Now, is that what brought you to author your book, Girl Just Show Up? Is that show up for yourself and be your true self? What is Girl Just Show Up?
Well, and let me show the book. Hey, that's me. That's me in the cover. Writing this for 2 years, actually, been writing this. Now, let me give you a quick story about what I was writing this book. Oh, I don't have that with me here. When I was writing this book, I'm sitting up on my computer, I'm typing, I'm typing, I'm typing. But every time I'm typing, something else kept coming up to my mind, which is a journal, right? And so, and one day I created a journal called Embrace Your True Self Journal, right? Because for whatever reason, I was being guided. It's almost like the journal needed to be done before this book. Again, you got to pay attention. When you're being guided to do something, you got to do it. But this says, girl, just show up. Yes, it is about me. And when people do purchase this book, they will understand and they will it's relatable, very relatable. Because here it is. You ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
As I said, 2 years ago I started. I had the idea just to write it, but it wasn't coming up. It wasn't flowing like it should be flowing, right? And I remember one time, maybe a year ago, almost a year ago, as I was getting in the shower, for whatever reason, I broke down. I was at home. I turned the water on, and I just broke down. I felt like I wasn't there. I was working so hard, but I'm not there with God. What's happening? I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional.
It's okay.
What's happening? Again, I hear I don't want to say hear the voice. I don't want people to think I'm crazy. But um
It's okay. And you can, and please feel free, Miriam. You're in a safe place. Please feel free.
this is what happened when you being your true self,
I do. I do.
um,
And you know what? And we love you for it. And it's what is inspiring to others and what was part of your mission. And again, you're in a safe space. And being your true self is what continues to inspire and encourage others. While giving you a moment, you have been an inspiration to women, I know as well. And so do know those tears, pardon me, those tears and you being your true self is what is the inspiration. Forgive me one moment myself.
you're fine. You're fine, my love. Ay, ay, ay.
Yes. So we thank you for sharing this moment with us.
Yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Not my intention to come up here and mess up my little eyeliner and but
Well, you're helping my reputation. My reputation, I am known as the people whisperer. And so that people whisperer title means you come into a safe spot. And if you feel safe, you can just be fully expressive as you want. So we got you. We got you.
all right. Well, thank you. So
Absolutely.
I broke down and I heard the voice that says, I've given you everything. I've given you the voice. I've given you the creativities. I've given you the audience. You have chosen not to use it.
Mm.
And if you ready, show up now and see what will
Yes.
happen. I got on Facebook Live. I am not lying. I had my shower cap on, looking a mess. And I broke down on Facebook. And people I know were sending me private text. Girl, what are you doing? Why are you looking like this? Why you got your shower? Because they know it's not me.
Yes.
But I had a message that I had to deliver. I had to go because that's what I was guided. I had to go and confess of who I am and my abilities because I do have spiritual ability, and I had to go and be open about it. And while I was doing that, I was guided to let them know I'm going to show up for anyone who needs me with this morning motivational booster. So for the past year, I've been showing up at, now I put it at 8 a.m., but 7 a.m. in the morning, giving a word of inspiration
Mm.
to
I love
whomever
that.
needs that. It's called Morning Motivational Booster. Nonstop. At 7 a.m., I show up. As I'm showing up, others are showing up. And Miriam, thank you. Oh my God, you changed my life. You're this, you that, you that. Here's the kicker. Even if there's one person watching or zero people, I still show up.
Yes.
By me showing up, the title Dr. Miriam as an honorary doctorate showed up because I showed up.
Yes.
I was being watched and didn't even know, where I was contacted by the president of the school that says, "We love what you're doing. We see you and we like to honor you."
It's incredible.
That day, I cried so much because what I didn't tell you is that I am a high school dropout
Mm.
who, of course, got her GED afterwards, but a high school dropout with an associate degree. And now I am a doctor,
Yes. Bravo.
right?
Yes.
So
It's okay.
it's,
You got it.
it's, yeah, I'm not cute when I cry, so I'm trying to be cute.
I still think you're cute. I see that beautiful smile. And you're still cute.
I have to light up the mood. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You know what? I could have said, am I still looking cute?
um, so that's how this title came by, because I was obedient again,
Yes.
being guided. And I mean, when you question or have doubts of where you're being guided, that means you're not serving the right God.
That's right.
When you're serving the right God, you know He's not going to steer you in the wrong direction.
That's right.
God don't hurt. God loves and gives. So I said, I know who's God I'm serving. So I'm listening, and I've done, like I said, I show up on social media looking like, right? So he says, I'm going to open up the door for you because you were obedient. You listened to me. You did exactly what I asked you to do. And I am still showing up every morning till today because I have saved lives. And the gift that God had given me that I was so afraid to talk about is that sometimes He speaks through me for others. I don't do tarot cards. I don't do palm reading, but I can look at you and I have a message for you, and the message be 100% on point. And I was able, when I am in the midst of teaching, motivation and inspiration, here I am. I stop everything because there's a message for somebody that's watching. And guess what? This message being 100% on point, where the person will say, oh my God, how did you know this? Where one person was about to lose her home, and I somehow I'm teaching, but I kept seeing an image in front of me that says evicted, eviction, eviction. And I had to stop what I was teaching and say, someone that's watching me right now is in the midst of an eviction. And please come forward. And she came forward, and of course the community now setting her cash apps and stuff like that to help her, right? But at first I was afraid of this gift. I never spoke of it. Many, excuse me, many good things has happened. I have saved lives with this gift that I never spoke of. And that day I had to let the audience knows, who am I? You could either receive me or remove yourself from me. But it was time, and that's what I did. And so go show up. It's about, stop being afraid to show up. Stop thinking it has to be perfect to show up. You know, we live in a world of filters.
Mhm.
We're always filtering because we need more makeup, we need this, we need that. But do you know, if you just show up raw as possible, how many doors it can open up for you? Because you know why? Now you are being relatable, because people are tired of fakeness. They want to see
Yes.
someone that can relate to, someone that can say, you know what, she gets me, he gets me, he understands me. That's what Girl Show Up is all about. It's about 100 pages. It's not big, but it's powerful. It has affirmations. He has each chapter touch a different ways of showing up and how for you to become a winner in your everyday lives. You know, we win every day, but we don't even realizing that we are winning every day. Me showing up on this live with you, that today's a day off. I could have stayed in bed and said, you know, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this tomorrow because I just want to lay in bed. I am winning, and you are winning, because you know what? You took the time to do this with me too.
Yes. It's showing up. It's
It's
showing
all
up.
about showing up,
Yes.
because you show up, I show up. We don't know how many lives this interview is going to change.
Yes. And I know it will. Just the sheer magnetism that you exuded in being so vulnerably true to yourself. I know that there are people who are going to watch this and it's going to inspire and change. And that was, to me, I do believe in those defining destiny moments where conversations are supposed to happen. And we were sharing this with each other in conversation prior to this a little, that sometimes it's these moments that saves one person's life. And if we can do that, we've done a great deal.
Yes, yes. And again, you know, as you just said, none of this was rehearsed. None of this, you
No.
know, I don't know what I was going to say. I don't know how I was going to say it. I just know that I was guided to to be me and be true and speak the truth. Because many of us, we're still ashamed of our
Yes.
past. We're still ashamed of crying, right?
Yes.
So nobody want to cry in front of thousands of people, but you know what I mean? It is
Yes.
what it is. If we just
Yes.
let go, and you know, that's with everything in life, we just have to let go, right? And relationships with self, sometimes we too uptight. And then we're asking, how come this doesn't flows to me? And that's one thing I teach people, or I speak about it, because I don't teach manifestation. But one thing I've learned for myself, let go. We always
Yes.
say, universe, bring to me, universe, this. But universe cannot come and knock at your door when you're so uptight, and will not be free to allow
Yes.
love, friends, anything to come and find you.
Oh, oh, that gets me right here.
You gotta let go. Be
Yes.
free. Enjoy the moment, the little moments. You know, like you ever gone dancing and a party and you sing women, even men, just sitting there. Nobody's enjoying
Snarling.
themselves. Like, and I'm saying to myself, why come? If your intentions is not to enjoy yourself, why show up? See, I told you earlier, I'm a dancer. I love to dance
Yes.
with or without somebody, right? So if I
So
go
no
to
Whitney Houston song for you. Oh, I want to dance with
I
somebody.
want to dance with somebody, right? So, so I go to a party, I'm feeling the music, but I don't want to get up and dance because what? Nobody's asking me to dance? No, I'm going to enjoy myself because the intention was for me to get out of the house to go and have a good time. And watch this. Once you start enjoying yourself, you're having a good time. You know what you're doing? You're putting the right people towards you.
Yes. Yes.
And people, yeah, guys were like, you mind if I dance with you? Guys are women, okay? And it's not about anything sexual. It's about someone says, oh, I can be free with this person,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, if I'm sitting in the corner looking all stuck up, who's gonna want to be next to me? No one. Because
True.
some people are looking to be free. Some people are looking to enjoy life. Some people are looking to forget the problems they have just for a little while. We gotta understand people don't do things just to do things. People do things for purposes, for reasons. When you see someone drinking, why do they drink so much? Why do people smoke? You know, everybody have that thing. That's what I say. Everybody has that thing, right? Like I said, music is my thing. Music, when I'm dancing, I forget everything. I forget all my problems because I just want to be free.
Yes.
So when you see someone doing that and you're going through something, what do you want to do? You want to go and rub elbow with that person and say, you know what, I want to be free just like you, sis.
Freedom's contagious.
It's contagious,
Yes.
right? So again, showing up for yourself, showing up for your friends, showing up for your loved ones. And this can be purchased on Amazon.com. It's dirt cheap. It's $14.99. It's a
Now, it,
powerful book.
is that so? It includes portions of your life story. Is that correct?
Well, I would say, oh, I don't have my glasses. See, I should have that next to me. Let's put it this way. Let me read a few lines for you. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay. Please do.
Okay. In chapter one, for example, I have the power of presence. That's chapter one. It says, and if you see me going like this, I wear reading glasses, okay? So I didn't expect I was gonna come and read. Okay. It says, it says, there's a shift that happens the moment you decided to show up. Not when the lights are perfect, not when the plans is flawless, but when you say, I'm coming anyway. For the most for most of my life, I thought I had to be ready before I began. I thought confidence was the doorway when really it's the hallway.
Mhm.
It's the step by step that only happens when you give yourself permission to be present, even in your imperfection. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a fancy title. You don't need 100 likes or a full audience. You just need to stand up, speak up, and show up.
Mhm.
Because when you do something divine happens, you activate your power. Presence is more than just being in the room, it's choosing not to shrink when you get there. It's standing in your truth when fear whispers, like, It's letting your feet hit the floor every morning with intention. Saying today, I choose me. That's what showing up is about. It's not about being loud. It's not about being seen. It's not about being the best. It's about saying, I matter. I matter. And that quiet confidence, your presence is louder, okay,
Mm.
than any fear you've ever faced. This is just one page in chapter one. Now, I read this to you because it's not so much about me saying this is me about me. It's about what I have gone through. My accent kept me from many doors because I'm thinking no one would understand me. People try to make me feel like I was illiterate, like I didn't know how to speak. I couldn't pronounce the words. I've had people in my corner every time I speak. What you say? What? I cannot understand you. What? I speak enough well English for you to understand me, but sometimes people want to shrink you because they see your power, they see who you are. But I let them stop me. So I was always dimming my light for others. But I walk in a room and I speak up, and people say, Girl, where the heck are you from? This accent is beautiful. But
Absolutely.
before then, excuse me, before then, I didn't see it that way. The doubts. Who are you to train other women to love themselves, to welcome and embrace who they are, no matter what size they are? I had to learn that for myself. So that's what this is about. And when you're reading this, you will say, you will read where it says, I. So I will tell you the experience that I've gone through, but it's not a book about Miriam solely. Make sense?
It does. It's a self-reflection. Pardon
Self
me.
reflection.
So you're seeing in reading that it was not just speaking from you, it is speaking from we the reader as well. So they can identify with that as well. And I thought it was exceptional. It gave me chills because the presence of it was so substantially felt. I could feel each word that you said and see, even as a man, feel myself hearing those words and seeing the pictures in my mind of seeing those words. And I know the reader would as well. Girls Show Up, it wouldn't just be about Girls Show Up. It's about the person who reads it and showing up consistently. Persistence is what gets the reward. I've always heard persistence and consistency. I'm sorry, persistence and consistency are what lead to the reward. Now, you also have a podcast.
Mhm.
Is the podcast very similar, following the same thought about showing up and being present and inspirational?
It is. It's called the Miriam Cinevert Show. Be bold, be true, be you. It's a show you come in and you speak your mind. There's no hold bars, there's no judgment. It's all about who you are, right? I started it a year ago. We're still a small channel. I think I have about maybe 8,500 subscribers, and it's still growing. And then now this year, I included a couple of my good friends, and there where I have a segment called the Sister's Voice, right? When I first started, it was just myself alone, and now I have a couple of girlfriends of mine, and that's me sitting in my living room with my girlfriends, and we were talking, we were having so much fun, and we were like, oh my God, can you imagine? Da, 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 da. And the light bulb goes, and I'm all about growth. If you're in my life, Seth, you have to grow with me, and I have to
Yes,
grow with you.
that's
It's
key.
That's the key. There's no competition. If I say I love you as a friend and we are close, you in my life, and I'm eating steak and you eating pork, what is that?
Yes,
We both got to eat the steak together,
yes.
right? So I said to my girlfriends, I said, ooh, I have an idea. They were like, what? And some of them never been in front of cameras before. That being a talk show host is not that thing. But I'm like, imagine if we could just have a show. I see a lot of people have different podcasts, and everybody will do whatever where they're being guided to, right?
Yes, yes.
And so I'm like, what about if we have a podcast, and a segment in the Miriam Cinema show called it the Sister's Voice, because we all have different perspective of life, of different things, and we just speaking and embracing. And your suggestion, your perspective is there's no wrong, no right. It's just who you are. And so, yeah, and everybody's really loving it. And actually, we all, not just on YouTube, a couple of local networks have picked us up in Miami, which is a Haitian network. And Florida, yeah, he has picked us up. And another guy who has a Roku channel has picked us up. So, yeah, it's just all about showing up,
That's it.
showing up.
On that note, where can people reach you or contact you to learn more, not only about your book, because we heard that's on Amazon, but to learn more about your work? And in order for them to see, I have questions. Miriam was incredible. I want to get in contact with her. Where would the best place be?
Well, they can email me. TrueSelfMag@gmail.com. TrueSelfMag, TrueSelfMag @gmail.com. I'm available for speaking engagement. I love to transform people's lives. So anybody who would like to book me for speaking engagement, for coaching, they can always reach me at trueselfmag@gmail.com. For Instagram, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok is True Self Magazine.
And if they want to take you dancing, they have to be able to have.
Yes.
Miriam, I can't tell you what a pleasure it was having you here today. And
Thank
I'm looking
you.
forward to the second time to come back again as a guest. And not only that, but I'm looking to the flourishing of our friendship and relationship. This was so inspiring. I tell you from the bottom of my heart. And those people who it's going to touch, we thank you on behalf of Makers Bar and the Seth Guru Baxter program on Makers Bar. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I am looking forward to the flourish of the friendship also. And again, my door's open. You're a friend of Kier, you're a friend of mine. It's all love, and so please, anytime you want me to come back or anything you need, I can contribute to your channel. Let me know. I'll be
I
more
will.
than happy to do that.
I'm going to be in contact with you because we've been talking about a few things. So I definitely will let you know. Aside from which, I want people more to really feel the impact that I felt. So please do check out True Self Magazine and Dr. Muriam Cinevert and the work that she's doing. We here at Makers Bar truly thank her for her inspiration, being vulnerable, and knowing she has a safe space. I end each program with saying the revolution we want is a revolution of love. Let's have that revolution, and it is called a love-evolution. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've enjoyed this content, please press like, subscribe, and share what you have. Let someone know to be true to themselves today. We love you, good folks, and we'll see you the next time. Miriam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.